June 11th, 2002. We rise to the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we bow our heads in prayer. Heavenly Father, we ask that you watch over us as you guide us with making decisions on behalf of the citizens and residents of Newman. And these things we ask in your name. Amen.
Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Harper?
Present.
Councilmember Applegate? Councilmember Martinez?
Present. 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 Any communications from staff right at the present time? Mike? Okay.
Just a quick one, Mayor and City Council. We have the Von Renner Parade coming up on, it's the Kid Olympics coming on the 17th. It's coming Monday at 9 a.m., about 9 to 10. We'll have about 150, 200 kids going down our main street, and that's in honor of the Olympics they're having down there at the Von Renner School. So we have that all covered, and I'll answer any kind of questions you have on that. It's an annual event. We've been doing it for many years.
Anybody have any questions? That's it.
I have a quick question, Chief. Actually, it's off the subject of what you just mentioned to us. I think that's excellent that you're doing that. And also, I wanted to comment and commend you on the DARE program and the recent barbecues you had with the residents. I think that's excellent. Keep up that good work. I do have a question regarding the officers and your ride-along program. And my question stems from policy and also with the city's responsibility. I don't know if you have anything that's formulated that is a sign-off or a waiver or something to that extent. If you do, if you could forward it perhaps to the city manager so that we could peruse it. But I would like to see something that's maybe perhaps a little more restrictive in terms of the ride-along program. With explorers, no problem. With citizens, if they're not an applicant or seeking out to become law enforcement, and they're just riding along with you, I would like to know what kind of waiver we need to have.
Well, the way we have is it was one that we had recognized by the RMA, so it's one that's been in place for many years, but we don't have restrictions as to who rides, other than we do have it where a parent has to sign if it's somebody that's under 18 years of age.
Okay. Yeah, because I would want to consider that in response to the city's liability.
Sure.
So, that's something I would like to look at if you could forward it to the city manager and share with my colleagues.
I shall. Thank you.
Thank you, man. We have another barbecue coming up too, right? Just while you're there.
Yes, we're scheduled to have one on the 21st, but we're trying to keep the location kind of secret because we can't feed the whole town, but we'll try.
You let us know, right?
Yes, we'll definitely counsel them.
Thank you. Item number 6, items from the public, non-agenda items. While the City Council welcomes and encourages participation in the meetings, it would be appreciated if you limit your comments to 3 minutes so that everyone may be heard. Matters under the jurisdiction of the Council not on a posted agenda may be addressed for the general public at this time. However, California law prohibits the Council from taking action on any matter which is not on a posted agenda unless it's determined to be an emergency by the City Council. Any non-agenda items anyone wants to speak on? Okay. Items from public, agenda items. Any item number?
That's it.
Okay. Okay. Any member of the audience desiring to address the council on a matter on the agenda, please raise your hand or step to the podium at the time the item is mentioned by the mayor. In order that all interested parties have an opportunity to speak, any person addressing the council will be limited to a maximum of 3 minutes unless the mayor grants a longer period of time. And when you come to the podium, please state your name and address for the record. Item number 7, public hearings. There are none. Item number 8, consent calendar. 8A is approval of warrants. 8B, approval of minutes to May 28, 2002 regular meeting. Item 8C, adopt resolution number 2002, next number. A resolution approving notice of completion of the youth center. And item D, approve extension of landscape maintenance contract with Early Bird Landscape Company Incorporated. Anyone want to pull anything from the consent calendar? Okay, I'd like to pull item 8D, and I'd like a motion to approve items A, B, and C.
So move, Mr. Mayor, with the comment that I think the youth center is looking rather nice, and I like the improvements that have been made. I think they've done an excellent job.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0. Item number 8D, approve the landscape maintenance contract. On here it says that it was $23,400 per year, and the cost of the new contract is $30,600. This will include additional maintenance of landscape for Stevens Ranch and Lucas Ranch 2 subdivisions. My question is, when does the additional landscape work on the Lucas and Stevens subdivisions commence, and does the old monthly rate continue until that happens?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. Yes, excuse me, the monthly rate will continue until the end of this month, and then beginning July 1, the new rate will be in effect.
Will those landscape areas be ready for them to work in at that time?
They have presently been installed. You will have the Stevens Ranch subdivision coming before you at the next council meeting, I believe, if they have it ready. But all the improvements have been completed.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we weren't paying the extra money before they actually had something to do.
No, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, can we have a motion on item 8D?
I move we approve consent calendar item D.
Second.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes, opposed? Passes 4-0. All right, let's see. Item number 9, regular business. If it's agreeable to everyone, I'd like to move item number 9. Do we have representatives from Woodside Homes here?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to move item number 9J up to 9A, so we can get this out of the way. Any objections? Okay. Number 9J, reconsider item regarding request by Woodside Homes to defer wall improvements. We have someone who wants to speak from Woodside Homes.
Mr. Mayor, if I may interject, while we're moving agenda items, how many people do we have here for agenda item 9F, report regarding building inspections?
I'm going to move on up to 9B.
You do? Okay. I'll concur with that.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Great. I appreciate you hearing.
Can we have your name and address?
I apologize. My name is John Crowley. I'm here with Woodside Homes. Address is 3509 Coffee Road, Modesto 95355.
Thank you.
I appreciate you hearing me. This item was brought before the council in the last session, and unfortunately we weren't able to be here due to lack of communication on the notification. And at this time, Woodside Homes only wishes that the council members couch this proposal that we have before you until a later date, withholding any decisions on this, because there is a proposal that will be coming before the city council that'll have great bearing on this, and I think it'll reflect positively upon what we're trying to accomplish here with replacing deferring the improvement of the fence from being a block wall to a wood fence at this time. So if we were able to do that, that would be our desire.
Anyone have any objections to?
How
table
amount of
this?
time are we talking?
I'm sorry.
The
The
amount of time till you know you can tell us anything? Or?
Right. It'll be, I believe, in the next council meeting.
So we'll give you a 2-week extension and consider this. You can come with your proposal and your information at our next calendar council meeting 2 weeks from now.
On the 25th.
Now, is the 25th going to be held at the city there?
Probably. I don't think.
We will discuss that at the end of the meeting tonight, because we do have requesting a special meeting on the 18th, and we will look at whether or not at that time, whether the council desires to hold that meeting on the 25th or postpone that, due to the fact that we will be holding the special meeting on the 18th with quite an extensive agenda on that meeting. So it's up to the council on that.
Well, if indeed that we do postpone the 25th, we could table this item to the following council meeting, which would be our second Tuesday of July, which would just give you an extended amount of time. I mean, if that's,
July 9th meeting.
if that's
correct.
agreeable with my colleagues.
John?
Yeah, that's fine, just be prepared just in case,
For the 25th.
25th,
We certainly will.
you know,
If we have one, okay.
if we have one.
We'll let you know.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Okay,
I
thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you very much. All right, now, again, I'd like to move item number 9F up to 9B. Any objections for that? 9F, report regarding building inspection services. Let me get through here just one second. You have all this information in front of you. Do you have all the extra items that were in your box? I know John-
Yes, we have one.
Yes.
All right. I've been getting a lot of complaints from citizens, particularly ones who are doing their do-it-yourselfers, who are getting conflicting answers when they ask questions of the building department. If it was one or two people, and I would think, okay, well, maybe that's just people they just don't understand. But there's been a lot of people that have done this, and talking with these people, they're average, above average education, and they're no dummies about everything. So basically what the complaints are that they will talk to one person, get one answer, talk to someone else, get a second answer. A lot of the answers they're giving them are not what our Newman codes call for. A lot of these things are coming from Los Banos and things like that, where they're entirely different. I think if you read over most of these things, there are some letters in here. And there's a report, your report here, and then there's a copy of the report that they have numbers on corresponding to this letter contradicting this report. I also got another one from another person last night who had a meeting with our city manager and someone from the building department, and I personally felt that they were intimidated, highly intimidated, and they did not come over tonight because they were afraid they wouldn't get their final inspection, they wouldn't get their permit, or whatever. I think that there's a lot of high-handedness going on, and I think we ought to straighten it out. I don't know what all is going to be involved in it. I think it can be straightened out. And I'm going to ask if there's anyone in the audience who would like to speak on this. Yes, sir. Just state your name and address.
Hi, my name is Ken Burris, and I live at 630 Sweet Plum Lane in Newman. The reason I came tonight was because I'm a member of the community here in Newman. Has run into many problems with this is an inspection and the codes and compliances. I have a list here of other people in the community that have had a lot of the same problems that I have. I live in California Orchards, right over here off of Kern, and we've been through
numerous meetings with K&B. It is a K&B home that I live in. And we've been to numerous meetings and discussions with representatives from K&B. Also, there was a couple times I spoke with the city manager, and I spoke quite often with different people at Precision Inspection and got many different answers. For instance, I have a copy here of a fence and corner cutoff standard layout, which was given to me, and actually, if you look at it, it represents the city of Dos Palace. And there's many different times I've got information that don't pertain to our community, and they should have taken the time to make that go through the standards of the city of Newman compliances, not the city of Dos Palace. So there's many conflicting reports that I've got. Also, I've turned in a request for city inspections of my home. And this right here is a statement that I wrote up to allow the inspectors to inspect my Kaufman and Broad house for building code violations, which we found numerous building code violations throughout the house, not only in mine, but in different houses in the community, and we bring that up to Precision Inspection. We wanted them to assist us in filing a warranty claim against Kaufman and Broad, and maybe showing us some of the problems that we need to correct, or they needed to correct. When we asked them to do that, they said that they couldn't do that for us. We thought that maybe since they are working here in the community of Newman, and they do have specialty work and different types of buildings in this matter, that they should come and help us figure out what exactly some of the problems might be. They didn't want to, so anyway, we went on by ourselves. We found many numerous problems that weren't in compliance with the building codes, and that were corrected by K&B and also representatives from Masonite hardboard siding. And all of this type of problems that we have could have been taken care of in the beginning and stopped before this went on. We've been going through these problems for at least 2 to 3 years now without any help from the city or from the building inspection department. There's been numerous times where we've found contractors putting up things that were not in compliance when they had not allowed us to put it up the same way that a contractor had. For instance, K&B, when they were building, it was okay, but then when we do it, it's not okay. So my thought was maybe we can get a community representation group that can go out along with Precision Inspection at different times, work with them so that they can understand, we can bring this back to the city when there are things that are brought up that might not be to code or the way we thought they should be. For instance, simple things as an attic entryway were left out at my house. And when I bring that up to Precision Inspection, they told me that, well, the problem, just because they put attic entryways in other homes within the community and they left mine out, doesn't mean that it's wrong, because they have brought that up to the more than what should be a standard in the community by having those attic entryways. And so mine is amenable not having one, so there's no problem with that. Also, I bring problems with flashing that were on other homes. Most of the homes, mine was an exception to that. I didn't have a flashing on my home at the entryway to the upstairs sliding glass doors, which caused a lot of rot. When I bring that up to Precision Inspection, they told me that just because others had it, and it was a maximum standard, mine was a minimal standard, just because I didn't have it, it didn't mean that it was wrong. So there's many times that things like that have happened. I have many different names of different people in the community that have also had the same problems and have also got the same reactions. Also right here, I have information from Masonite hardboard siding. When they sent a representative out to my house, they took pictures, and they found faults with their siding that was based on manufacturer. So they went ahead and approved to pay me for that and give me the money back. But what's marked here in white is a problem that they would not pay me for the Masonite siding, because it was a problem that should have been taken care of when the contractor installed that siding. They installed it too close to the cement. It should be a minimum of 6 inches or more. So they, Precision Inspection, did not catch this. So that caused the hardboard siding to rot, and that caused Masonite not to pay me for that because it wasn't installed correctly. there's numerous problems like that throughout the community that goes on and haven't been noticed. So I'm here to represent the community, and I would like to say that I would like to get approval to have a community watch group that we can go out and look at the standards and help precision inspection to make sure that maybe some of these things that they don't think are in compliance are up to compliance. Maybe we feel they're not, and we can get those items bring to the city council, and maybe a representative can come out there with us and look at those things that are maybe we think at fault. Also, for instance, you know, I had to go ahead and get the manufacturer specifications on the siding, and there's all these type of things that didn't happen. My nailing on my hardboard siding was not 16 inches on center like it should have been also, and that caused it to be an exempt, so I didn't get paid for that portion of the siding. People are having problems with the fireplaces, with foundations, and many other things that need to be looked at and addressed so that the community can be aware of what's going on and watch over this so that this doesn't happen to some of the other new building projects that are going on. The same thing that happened to us. Like I said, we have numerous meetings, caused numerous headaches and numerous problems for different people, and it caused me to lose money on my hardboard siding that was a manufacturer defect because it was installed incorrectly. And I don't think that the city council has been brought to or aware of a lot of the problems that are happening over there in California orchards, and know nothing about what's going on between the community and the inspection company, the department that's here. So, like I said, I would appreciate it if maybe we could talk about this at another time in the city council chambers or off to the side, so I don't take up so much time. I'm sorry about that. And we could look into some of the problems that are going on in the community that we might be able to be nipped in the bud before they go as far as this.
Mr. Burris?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to commend you for your comments and bringing it to our attention. As you know, the mayor directed this recently with staff and brought it to the attention of the town. As we all know, there's always a flip of a coin, but one of the things that I want to state in terms of hearing it, two sides of the story, is that something that I noted that you stated, that you said bring this to the city and you speak about the community. We are the community. We're a representation of the community, and one of the things that you're saying that's so vitally important is to bring these things to our attention. There are times where this doesn't come to our attention and we don't readily know. However, we have been hearing a trickling effect of what you bring before us tonight. My specific question is relevance of timing. 2 to 3 years, I know that you've spoken that some of these problems were erupting. Could you give me a time reference when you first may have brought it to the attention of precision inspection, some of your concerns, and also to the city by way of our staff? Can you give me a little bit of a time frame there?
Sure. I've been working on this with K&B Homes for at least 2 years, and it's been within the last year that I bring it to the attention of precision inspection and then the city manager.
So it's been within some time, this time last year in 2001?
Right. Well, like I said, you know, I would like to you guys maybe get together and have a vote on it. Maybe I can bring some more members from the community to the meeting next time. We could take a look at this and as I said, get some representation from the community so that we don't have these type of things going on with the new homes that are building, because a lot of these homes, they just go up as fast as they can. And it's simple things as far as diluting the paint when it was put on our house. And this is all documented and a fact that it did happen. Whereas the inspection company, they don't deal with paint, they don't deal with fences, and there's things that they don't deal with that were put up wrong that maybe we can as a community deal with, make sure that the builders do this stuff correctly. I mean, it's been headaches. There's a lot of people that are commuters in this town. They don't have the time to deal with this. They have children, they have families, they have other events going on. They just don't have the time. In fact, I was expecting no one from the community here to deal with this situation, and there probably isn't. I don't know. But I have numerous names on record here of people that have complained to K&B, and they have talked with different representatives from K&B and Masonite, and they have worked this out ourselves and have brought some of the things into compliance. And like I said before, when I get together with precision inspection, I get a kind of a ho-hum attitude, and well, it's kind of this way and it's kind of that way. you know, I need a definite answer in a definite time.
When you make reference to the number of other people that live in your particular development, can you give me a ballpark figure of the number of people you have there, just a range of similar complaints?
We had to put up a website. On our website, there's something like 250 people at one time. We can go back into that and pull up the names and numbers and call them again and have a little bit more representation if you like. We've had meetings in the park.
Is pretty good.
We've had meetings in the park. We've had meetings with the manager, the executive vice president of the warranty for K&B, and all this stuff has come back as yes, it was a problem. It was put in wrong, and it should have been caught in the first place, which it wasn't. That's the problem here. And so what I like to suggest again is that we have community representation so that this kind of stuff doesn't happen. It was okayed by precision inspection. It should not have been.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I think right now probably we're working between you and K&B Homes at the Copeland Road. Agreed that this should have been caught to begin with, but that's just one of the little things. There's a lot of people that have talked to me have been people who have done their own work or wanted to do their own work, put up a fence. For instance, one that I do know of that I was involved in was someone wanted to put up a 6-foot fence, which is standard. They went to the building department. They said you have to have your holes 3 feet deep and 18 inches in diameter for a 6-foot fence. This paper that was given to them was from Los Banos, I believe. I questioned it. Cleve and I went down to precision inspection and were given another paper saying that they're 2 feet deep and 1 foot wide. Now it comes out that there is no specifications for a fence hole at all. So that's one of the things. Everybody gets a different answer from a different person. And for a contractor, he should be smart enough to catch a lot of these things. For the average do-it-yourselfer, they don't have a clue. And this is the big problem. Anyone else would like to say anything on this subject? Yes, go ahead. Oh, yeah, speak in the mic, please. Yeah, that's easier. Yeah.
My name is George Duggan, and I live at 605 Sweet Gum Avenue. I've been a homeowner in Newman for about 8 years, but I've been a resident for 2 years. And I've been waiting to get on the record on how bad inspections are in this town. And I've given you this report, and I think we can go over this report because I'm going to say pretty much what my neighbor Ken Burris is saying, but I might be a little bit more specific in what I'm going to say. Now, this is extremely timely because we have 5 subdivisions that are going up right now. And these subdivisions, what's really at stake here, the jeopardy, what's really at stake here is the quality of life of future citizens. Because when I moved to Newman, I had no idea that I have to deal with these homeowner problems. And you know, it's not just KV. We have 5 subdivisions, and it's true that we have builders like KB that come off and have a business plan that says, hey, let's put these houses up as quick as we can, and we'll take care of it on the warranty side. And just so happens that K&B is that way. There could be some other home builders today that are like that. But what we don't expect, and it would be nice if these builders wouldn't do that, but what we don't expect is a building department to actually have the same kind of business plan. And that's what the building department is. It's subcontracted out. They probably, I know for a fact, they miss inspections big time, And they're probably trying to maximize profit, when maybe if we actually had it in-house, or we had better oversight, or they had better internal controls, we wouldn't have had these problems. And I think a big misconception is that it's K&B, and I believe I spoke to, early on I spoke to the city manager, and I spoke to the vice president of Precision Inspection, and the big misconception they had was, well, you get what you pay for. You buy a KB home, these are starter homes, these are cheap homes, you get what you pay for. But that's not the case at all. That's specious reasoning, because in fact in 1994, KB had the best warranty out there. They had a 10-year warranty. And in addition, if you look, if I could direct you to a Boston Globe Spotlight report that was actually published in 2000.
What page is that in your report here?
You're going to find that in the index, 17, page 17. In fact, go to page 4, because in 4 I talk about precision misconceptions. And maybe other people are suffering under the same misconception. And one misconception is, of course, these are cheap homes, what do you expect? And pretty much those words is what precision inspection told us homeowners. But let me quote what the Boston Globe did in a great report they put out. And it's here in the middle of the page. It says, among other things, the Globe reported that the Toll Brothers, the nation's largest luxury home builder and a major presence in Massachusetts, has alienated customers in subdivisions throughout the country, some with construction defects so serious that Toll has bought back their homes. Moreover, a review of construction defect lawsuits across the country shows that the rising number of consumer complaints against home builders runs the economic gamut, from starter homes typically offered by KB Home and other buildings to elegantly designed offerings from Toll. So the idea that their starter homes are going to have more defects than high-priced homes, that's a misconception, and that's a prejudice that I think maybe precision inspection has, and maybe that affects the way they go about their business. Another prejudice they have is about their requirement under the California Code for inspection. Precision, now we were told many times from Steve Sorensen, VP, Precision is only responsible for enforcing minimum building code. Well, that's just not the case. The assessment of Precision's responsibility is not accurate. According to the California Health and Safety Code that prescribes the establishment of the city's building department and its enforcement requirement, it permits wide latitude for city building inspectors in that they may alternate and approve plans for purposes intended to at least the equivalent of that prescribed in the California Standards Board. So it's at least. But we expect them as professionals to use judgment. And so when we see something that's not specifically called out to the code, we expect them to use some judgment. And that judgment would be where a ledger board on a 12-foot high deck attached to the house is unstable. Our builder used nails. They should have used lag bolts, but Steve pointed out, hey, lag bolts aren't specified in the code back in 1994. I think today they might be, but he should have known that. We never would have had this problem. He should have required the builder. He would have that latitude, and any builder will tell you that he has that latitude to do that. But actually, what's at stake here is the quality of life for the future citizens of Newman, because I think our experience at My Builder will help if we can actually change and modify and enforce the internal controls of precision inspection. I think that future citizens, quality of life of future citizens in these 5 subdivisions that are going up right now will be remarkably improved, and they won't be victimized like we were. So let me touch on the big flaws, these unavoidable big flaws that they missed, that were so blatant and flagrant, that it's so negligent that you wonder if there's a malfeasance going on. And so the first one is the exterior siding. Now, as you can see, there's a picture on the front of your cover, the exterior siding. This is my house. The ramifications of the bad precision inspection of the exterior siding, and I'm sorry you guys can't see that. I can just show you that picture right there. That was my house before my builder, under warranty, decided to fix it after much haggling with him. Many of the problems have been fixed in that subdivision because we have hung together as a group, and it was fixed. But let me get more into this. Why was this? What was wrong with that? Well, what was going on is this is hardboard siding, and hardboard siding has to be applied just correctly according to its specifications. And if it's not applied according to its specifications, you can get moisture intrusion, and moisture intrusion will cause mold, and it will just rip apart your house. Well, the application of siding by the builder failed on almost all the application requirements that were for this product, this siding product. And this is in here. If you look at page exterior siding, page number 5, and it'll talk about what exactly happened. What we found after much looking is we found the application instructions for masonite siding that goes on our house. And we dissected it. We dissected it apart, and we found out, and then we compared it to our homes, and we found out, man, they missed so many things. And if you look on page number 6, there's actually a list I sent to the VP of Warranty at KV to tell him, and actually he had an expert come out and look at our house, and we went down there, and they missed caulk, they missed grade clearance, they missed fastening requirements, they missed painting drip edges, they missed siding clearance, fastener spacing, flashing around the openings. No flashing at all around these openings. That is unheard of. This is something that any building inspector would have caught. The flashing keeps the water away from the house. There's no flashing over any of the openings. There was no caulking correctly, and that's the problem with this home right here. There was no vertical caulking on this trim. When you put trim over siding like that, you have to have caulking to keep the water out. Water got in there and just destroyed all that trim. This is the kind of thing we went with. And early on, we met with Precision Inspection. We said, please tell us the code so we can go back to the warranty department of our builder and ask them to fix this up. But you know, it was very high-handed, as the mayor said. They came to us and they said, hey, you know, I think you guys are pushing your luck here. Why don't you just take it easy? This is all cosmetic repairs that need to be done. You guys are pushing your luck. Why don't you just forget about it? And I have to laugh today at how successful our division has been, because we succeeded in getting our warranty repairs beyond everything I can imagine, because we actually did the work ourselves. It would have gone a lot easier if our building inspector would have helped us. And so I can't wait to get on record and tell you that they really need to fix their internal controls. And let me quickly get to my recommendations. The recommendations of the report can be found on page 2. I would like the city leaders to make sure that Precision establishes clear and formal policies and procedures regarding inspection procedures. That wasn't there. They may have it now, but at the time, it wasn't available. We would want them to strengthen its internal controls to ensure compliance with its policies and procedures. Good internal controls. We want to initiate a quality review controls that include peer reviews and external oversight responsibility. As my neighbor Ken Burris said, why not have a community oversight if they can't get peer reviews by other professionals, which most accountants, most lawyers, most architects all are supposed to have? Why can't they do it? They're professionals. In addition, I think the city should also consider putting the city's inspection contract up for a competitive bid to attract better services. I think that's always, I don't know why they have a constant monopoly here. Why not put it up to bid? Maybe it's too expensive, I don't know, but I'd sure like to see it at least on record that we tried to put it out to bid. Additionally, I think maybe we want to do a cost-benefit analysis about why are we outsourcing? I mean, because there's a profit, this gross negligence that I've just talked about deciding, there's a good reason for that is because they're a private business of their own and they're trying to maximize profit, and maybe they don't have the manpower in Newman, or maybe they're missing all these things. We got 5 subdivisions going up. Do they have the manpower to take care of that? I don't know. They certainly did in 1994. So why not do a cost analysis and see if we can bring some of it in-house, because then maybe it'll be more efficient and more effective. That's pretty much, you can read my report, and if you have questions you can talk to me offline. But I do have more specifics on exactly the dates that we talked to Precision Inspection and we talked to the city manager.
Sounds as if you have a timeline.
Yeah, I do have a timeline. And I can tell you, I mean, I've kept the timeline since this thing began back in February of 2000. And I can tell you that first time we met with the building inspector, Sorensen, on 10 May 2000. Again, he told us he'd only enforce minimum building requirements. He said all our problems were cosmetic and not structural, and he suggested we not submit frivolous warranty claims. And I laugh at that today, thinking what has transpired. Then I tried to come to this. I tried to come to your predecessors, and many of you were on the council at the time, and I got sidetracked by the city manager because he thought he could solve our problems, but as we spoke to the city manager, it was clear to me that he was relying more on precision inspection than the homeowners, and we got nowhere with that.
What date is that? Just give me a ballpark date.
16 May 2000, and then August. I think we actually met with the city manager on, I have the agenda right here, on 15 August 2000. And we gave him our problems there, and we weren't as knowledgeable back then, but we certainly didn't get any help. I think they did say they'd come out to some of our homes and look at our problems. And they did come out. They did come out, but I talked to some of the homeowners, and he was completely, the city manager, whatever good faith he was relying completely on precision inspection. Most of the homeowners thought it was just a whitewash. So we had no confidence in that. So it's not just, to conclude, it's not just the problem with the starter homes on the northeast side of Newman. We have 5 subdivisions going up, and it really speaks to the quality of life of future citizens who will be voters. And it's a courageous decision because you have precision inspection that's filling this room, and is also a big employer downtown. And so you got to weigh and balance that, but I think citizens are worth it. That's it. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Your report's very thorough. I think we'll all look through this in a little more detail, and this is just one of the problems that we're facing with this. And like I say, I think it can be cleared up. The reason that we went with, not necessarily went with precision inspection, but a local building inspection department was because otherwise we had the county, they were down here maybe one day a week. Otherwise you had to go to Modesto for any permits or anything like that, and it's more convenient. However, we're paying roughly $256,000 a year to precision inspection. Of that, $80,000, better than $80,000 for building inspection. And for that, I think that we deserve a more citizen-friendly building department. Does anyone from Precision have any rebuttal to this tonight?
Well, we haven't seen the report or anything, and I don't care to rebut to it.
This is just this one report that
I'm going to have to ask for a point of order, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
If we're going to be addressed, let's go ahead and make it
Okay,
formal
I'm
since
sorry.
we have such a contentious
Yes.
item.
Kelly Islip, 732 Real Avenue, Chairman of the Board of Precision Inspection Company. That on the complaints that came to us, we did meet with the city manager, and he gave you a report on it. And that now, if you want us to talk about these, you're going to have to give us a chance to look at them. We have met with them, and that I could let Steve say he met with them several times.
well, this is only one problem, though, Tony.
Well, you got to bring the problems up to us. Though.
Well,
I mean,
most
you
of, I'll tell
can't
you what,
say we got a bunch of problems.
most of the people are afraid to come there because they're
They're not
gonna
afraid to
screw
go
them
to
on
the city
this.
manager, and they've went to him, and if
And
he's
he hasn't done
responded to
anything
you,
either. I'll be the
then
first one to
that's a
admit
different
that.
problem, isn't it?
I think that that you ought to go back and talk to your people.
Well, I've talked
And-
to them. They're here because they're concerned, Mr. Mayor.
I believe it. They're concerned, but they've got to get together, and one person has got to be a spokesman, or if 2 or 3 people are
If
going to
you want-
talk to me, they've got to have the same answers. Why don't they have the same answers?
Do they get the same questions? I mean,
Yes,
you're
they do
talking
get the
talking
same.
about complaints that happened some time ago. If you could bring one up where everybody knew what was going on, there's people that aren't even here that these people talk to. I can't even ask them what the conversation was. You're talking about a complaint that's a year old. And how can I respond to it?
Well, I'm talking
The best
about,
we can do is guess.
I have 2 complaints that are
And-
just current. They're
And-
running concurrently right now.
Do we have them?
Yes.
Have you addressed us with them?
Yes, they're right in your report here that you got
That's
from our city manager.
That's one complaint, right?
There's 2
The other one was a
complaints.
year old.
But it still isn't. They still haven't got their final inspection.
That's because they never asked for a final after they got a
That-
final, and they got correction notices.
Well, this turns out to be a he said, they said. And
That's-
so.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is you want us
But,
to address something, we gotta have something to address.
If I were talking to 1 or 2 people, I would think, okay, well, maybe these people are stretching the truth a little bit.
But
of all the
we've been
people I've
given
talked
to.
And I
You
cannot
may-
get these people to come forward because they're actually afraid of what's going to happen.
If we refuse to give somebody a final inspection, would the city manager not step in and say that was wrong?
I don't know.
I don't either.
Oh, I would think he would. I would. If I heard it happen, I'd be stepping in and I'd be kicking one of my inspector's rear ends.
Mr. Mayor, for the sake of time and the sake of argument, and in all fairness to Mr. Hislop, I think he should certainly be equipped, particularly with this comprehensive report that we just received from Mr. Dugan. And I say that
agree.
just like I did to Mr. Burris. When he was addressing us, I said there's always a flip side to every
I
coin.
appreciate that.
And that was the point that I'm making, because Mr. Hislop also would have his presentation in terms of his business. Something that was said by Mr. Dugan is very clear, and something I want to allow the public to know, as speaking for myself on behalf as a representative of this town, that the community speaks large, extremely large. I too commute. I commute through the Altamont, but I take a lot of time out of my time to serve this community. I do that, and I try to do it unselfishly. We are the employers in this town. This city council that sits before you, the contracts that come before us, the city manager, and everyone that falls in line. The city manager is the boss here. However, we serve as the board, the council. So when it comes time for contracts, the $250,000 that the mayor alluded to that's paid to Precision, that comes what's under our budget. We make decisions on that. And we are coming to a crossroad now of our fiscal budget. Rest assured that that is being looked at very closely, all considerations being made. The mayor made a point of convenience. Having precision inspector and having a building inspector per se in town helps us with our development, because relying upon the county and the city makes it more difficult, the city of Modesto. We as a smaller town cannot necessarily afford to employ a building inspection aspect of our city like precision inspection has. So that's why you don't see the city of Newman building inspection. We have a private entity. However, they are accountable to us to the extent that we pay a service fee. And the mayor just mentioned $250,000 is a big, big chunk of this city's budget. And I just want to summarize that to keep this meeting in order, because I think it's only appropriate that we convey a message, that we send a message that we're here to work with the community. We're here to work with precision inspection, because we got to get it down to the bottom line. My confidence level is not particularly high, and I'm not afraid to say that. My confidence level is not particularly high with what comes out of our city manager's office because of these type of situations that are coming to a head. And we have to be informed with information. I respect and I appreciate citizens like Mr. Burris and Mr. Dugan coming before us. I understand there's a couple of other citizens here that have complaints that the mayor has referred to. And I only stand out, and I'll sit here on this end and I'll state these things because I'm not afraid to say it. I don't know how many of you know. I won't even mention, because sometimes they say, you're doing it for the big bucks. It's public information, the actual stipend that we get. No, I don't do it because of that. We do this because we really do care. We're part of this community. We are your neighbors. We're here. You see us. You see the mayor, I'm certain, every day down there at that theater. So I say that we're going to come to some real hard line decisions here in this town. And I'm not afraid to make a decision. And I'm certain that none of my colleagues are either. We're going to address the concerns of the citizens, and we're going to address the concerns and give Mr. Hislop a fair opportunity to address all the concerns. But there's some pretty heavy concerns, and I just want you to know that.
Well, and I agree with everything you said in the beginning before you got the campaign stuff.
Well.
The rest of it I agree with.
They do call us politicians.
That's right.
But I'm serious in nature about
Is there any
being
other
able to make
questions of me?
No,
I don't have any.
Kel, I apologize for losing my temper there. We will get you a copy of this and any other things that we can find, and I would like a report back.
Can I
say
just
within
ask a question? Has my people been perfectly cooperative with you, Cleve?
Yeah.
In this situation? They don't want these problems either. And you need to realize that sometimes enforcement comes with
It isn't really us that they have to be cooperative with. It's the normal citizen that goes in to get a permit or whatever, ask questions on building something.
Well, if any citizen walks away from there dissatisfied, I'm dissatisfied too. That is never our intent. Now, sometimes people walk away mad at us because we have to say no. But if they ever got bad information, or even if they're unhappy with the answer they got, I'm very dissatisfied with that. We try for 0 complaints, I mean, from the citizens, but sometimes if you notice, these are enforcement actions, sometimes they're not pretty. I mean, people lose their
I agree to
temper
that. And I don't think people would get too upset if you told them, no, they can't do that.
well, but believe me, sir, some of them do.
Well, they probably do, but that's, not as much as if they would be told 3 different things.
Well, if they were told, if they asked the same question and got 3
right.
different answers, I'm mad too.
Okay, well, let's see if we can get it straightened out, okay?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. John, any comments, Bob?
No, I mean, we
Matt?
need to hear both sides of the story, and we've only been brought to this our attention the last week or so, so we need to investigate the whole matter. You know, we can't make a judgment tonight on this material. Everybody has to read both sides and find out the exact story and go from there.
You know, it's almost to the point
Okay.
where,
We have one other person here, yes.
Hi, my name's Hannah Taylor, and I live on 1019 R Street. And this is also for this is a recent thing, and it's one of the we're one of the do-it-yourself builders, and I should have no concern because I don't really have to pay for anything or talk to them. But my mom and my stepfather, they've been through so much stress. The whole fencing thing, that was us. My mom went down there and she asked them what to do, and that's what they gave them, the 3-foot, 18-inch diameter thing, which is humongous. It's like 2 of my little brothers put in there, or 3 of them. And so then she talked to the mayor because she's friends with him and had him come down, and she was very distraught about it. So he went down there and got a paper that said 1 foot and then a diameter of 12 inches. And now she got another answer, and it was the exact same question every time. What do we have to do to build a fence? Also, the thing that she's most mad about is that they put out a lie about what happened when they did come. They told her that they needed a permit and stuff for the 6-foot fence, and they didn't do all this stuff and get it inspected. And then in a letter, I guess they wrote to some people, they said, well, it was a waste of our time, sort of. We didn't have to go down there and inspect it, which they told us they had to. Also, we were building a shed, which they got stopped. It was an older shed, and we wanted to build it ourselves. We didn't know we had to get a permit, so they stopped it, and so we stopped building it. But then we asked about garage, and they told us it had to be 10 feet from the alley, which my mom was like, that would be in our backyard. That would be not even a garage anymore. That would be part of our yard that we play in. And then she found out that it only had to be 5 feet from the alley. And then she found out it didn't have to be anywhere. It could be right on the edge of your property line. Just if the garage door opens towards the alley, it had to be 5 feet back. So we're getting different answers, and this is a recent case. This just happened probably 2 months ago, and this last fence thing probably happened 2 weeks ago. And it has been brought up to Precision's attention. And so we were just wanting you guys to consider what you should do about that, because they're not really helping the citizens, and they're not making us happy. And we did get answers. We didn't get a no. We're not mad about getting a no. We're mad about getting different answers and getting lies from them. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Kelly, there's one current one.
I think that I'm not familiar with Mr. Mayor, I'm not familiar with the specific problems that Kevin Locke, who is the manager of the building department here, met with Cleve and met with these people, I think. And I think Cleve wrote a report on it. I mean,
They didn't, I don't think they...
I didn't meet with them
No.
because you provided the letter from them
Right.
that...
okay,
there was a letter.
well then Kevin met with Cleve over it, and they came up with a resolution. I think you got a report sitting in front of you.
Yeah, but then the report doesn't agree with what they've said either. So that part is he said, they said. But it's just one of the instances, and the one that Cleve and Kevin met with last night is another current one. And
Well, actually,
they
that situation
couldn't be
happened
here.
about a year ago.
yeah, but I mean,
But-
it's still current because it hasn't been finalized. So
Right.
it has
been today. Okay.
Yeah, well, in fact, Kevin called me last night because she expressed concern that she was worried that she wouldn't get a final, and he called me and said, darn it, I should have went out.
called me last night.
Well, he said, I should have went out there last night after the meeting and done it, so that she would have had it done. But I
Okay,
take
well,
it
anyway,
he went
there
this
are
morning.
current ones, and
Yes.
we'll get more
Yes,
just
sir.
to you.
Kelly, I had a question, please. Why do you think that there's so many people out there getting so many different answers to questions, the same question?
Well, I would hope that we're not giving the wrong answers. But for instance, if you ask me how deep a 7-foot fence post had to be, it's different than a 6-foot fence post. And the reality is that a lot of the problems we have is the fact that we are, by policy of the city, since the situation they had in with the shed out on duck line, was that they have to get permits for these things. These are not building permits, these are zoning permits, and these are based off of your code. And it was an attempt by city staff to try to control these things, because we ended up declaring amnesty for, I think it was over 200 things here in town by the council direction. And now we are faced with, you know, for instance, I have people come in and say all the time, well, so-and-so hasn't. In fact, we went to court on one with illegal fence, and we lost because the gentleman brought a picture of the fire chief's fence and says, well, his fence is the same place I was putting mine. And the thing is that, can you blame the judge? I mean, even though our law is the law, I mean, it looks bad. And I'll tell you what, that my building inspectors do not like enforcing your zoning ordinances. That is not, they don't care to do it, and that we did it out of default because of a minimal planning department you have. Normally, a planner would address these things. Normally, in most towns, you don't get a permit for them.
Well, are we approving things that don't meet code?
To my knowledge, we're not. It sounds to me like that when plans come in, they meet fine. You could, I mean, the thing is if you ask a building inspector out in the field what something is, he should be, if he doesn't know the exact answer, he might give you an idea and say, I have to check. But the people that check plans and so forth, they're in the office checking plans. I mean, a building inspector goes out and checks construction based off an approved set of plans. And so if you're not talking to the right person, and if they're not directing them to go in and talk to a plan checker or submit a set of plans, you can't answer all the questions. If you ask me, what do I have to do to put a garage in, I could talk to you for 20 minutes, and I still couldn't tell you everything you had to do because something would come up that I didn't tell you. That's
Well,
why they have,
but if I had a plan.
If you have plans, they should be on there.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
then if there's a mistake, we all know it because there's plans there, they're stamped approved, and if it's wrong, we approved it wrong.
I'm almost about to ask you, are you ready for office?
Pardon?
You said something about me being a politician. I'm almost about to ask you, are you running for office?
I'm not running for office, but I have dealt with politicians for 25 years. I think it rubbed off on me.
Okay, anything else on this?
No, I just think it's going to be difficult for the two different sides to determine the real problem here. Seems almost like to me that there should be a...
Go ahead. I'm Kevin Lockham with Precision and actually supervising the building department. Some of the questions and problems that I see occur is when information is given out, typically there's different questions and people will take what they want and walk away with that and not provide us a complete set of plans which the building code addresses. We try to be a user-friendly, work with the people that are doing homeowners. But, I mean, if we wanted to get, I was accused last night of being very unfriendly. And if we want to get to the point of saying, give us a set of plans by a licensed architect or by somebody else, we'll answer the questions directly on a piece of paper. But we've gone to the point of saying, we will try to answer your questions, but be direct and stay consistent. Don't tell me that you want a 7-foot fence. We give you information, and then come back and say, well, I want a 6-foot fence now, but you gave me this. Well, you spoke to me about something else earlier. So we need consistency from them, let alone. Well, what I'm saying is we need consistency from the city of Newman to provide them the service that they would like.
But when you get into a Kevin, when you get someone that comes in, they want to build a storage building, a harbor or something like this. is a simple sketch good enough for you, or do you need actual engineering plans?
By law, it should be a set of drawings. But we usually take such a sketch and try to figure out what they just gave
You know
us.
what I'm saying? They would give you dimensions on there, and
Not normally. We have to usually ask.
if they give you dimensions on it. And things
Then
like
we
that,
would check
yeah.
out the dimensions.
Yeah.
And then we would go back to the code to say, are these dimensions correct? If they're not, and then we'll address it at that point in writing, saying these things need to be done. And for the common, the two occurrences that have come up have been, I think, communicational gaps of, well, if I do this or if I do that, what can I do? Speaking of the one on R Street, 1019R, they were stopped building the shed. It was over ordinance height. They told us the shed was in the amnesty program. They don't need to do anything. That's if the shed stays just as it is. If you change it, you need to conform to current code. They were stopped. It's still today in the same standard as it's at. Then I was asked, can I do a fence? I said, yes, you may. We got through that issue. The fence is not located in the right place, we thought, until my man came out and looked back in his office to look on a map. Theoretically, we should have had that homeowner spend $400 to $1,000 to stake out that piece of property by a licensed survey engineer to verify that corner. But we don't do that as a company. We are trying to go off the APN number and go back to make dimensions and pull tape.
What about, Kevin, say, in an alley, for instance, and you have 5 or 6 houses that have fences, and the homeowner wants to build a fence and he wants to put it in line with those other fences of his neighbors. Now, what would be the problem with that?
Well, we should check and see if those other fences are in line. But they are also grandfathered in. And that's where the question came up here, because it was sticking out farther than the rest of the fences. So my building inspector said, I need to go back and verify if this is in the right spot, to the best of his knowledge, off the APN parcel maps. Rather than saying, oh, it's fine. Because then it comes back to us when someone runs into it because it's sticking out farther than everybody else.
I can mention, Mayor, I do have a picture of that if you'd like to see that. The fence is clearly sticking out farther than the other one, and that's why the question arose. Why the building inspector thought he should go check and verify that it wasn't in the wrong location.
Okay.
If there was a licensed survey staked and signed there and we had it stamped sealed, he wouldn't even question it. That was not on site. There's no property pins available, anything. So I have to recommend my building inspector to go back and do some research on it before he signs it off and makes the city liable for it.
Okay.
We're doing it out of the best interest of the city, who we are contracted with.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Thank you, Kevin. Moving on, back to item 9A. All you people are welcome to stay, but if you'd like to go, why, you're welcome to go too. So I know some of you have to get home. Item number 9A, authorize city manager to execute agreement with NBS Government Finance Group to set up assessment district for Newman Industrial Park. Please.
This item, as you know, we've been working on finalizing the details for the Newman Industrial Park. One of the items that's required by our original agreement was to set up an assessment district to pay for the maintenance costs in the industrial park. We have begun that process. In fact, on your agenda tonight are some of the continuing items to continue that process going. What this is, an agreement with a specialized company who does this all the time. I actually received 2 proposals. The other one did not meet our timeline, and the cost was similar to this one, and therefore we elected to move forward with this one in order to keep this project moving. And so what you have here is a contract for $5,000 to set up the maintenance assessment district using MBS Government Finance Group.
I have a question regarding the staff report. MBS Finance Group will be assessing us $5,000 in order to set up this assessment district, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and part of what the County of Merced is requiring of us is to set up this assessment district,
That's correct.
which in a sense, for lack of a better term, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, an assessment is a tax, in a sense, but it's a fee.
Sure.
We can call it a fee.
Fee for,
A
yeah.
better
fee
word is
better.
fee.
Correct.
It's
Yeah.
a fee. That fee, in turn, would be imposed upon any business that would like to come and occupy a business in space in our industrial area.
Correct.
Okay. Now, let me understand this correctly. Up until we get some businesses in the industrial park, which I know that we have several pending, and one that we're in particular pushing this through for because it's been sitting in arrears for so long, we're going to have to fund that assessment, aren't we? The city.
Correct.
So we're going to be paying a fee to the County of Merced.
No,
excuse
we'll
me,
have to be paying it to ourselves
to
because we're
ourselves.
responsible for the maintenance. Correct.
Or the maintenance of the industrial zone.
Correct.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure I understood that correctly.
Any other questions for Cleve? Bob? Any questions?
No, I have no questions.
John? No. Can we have some direction on this?
I move we authorize city manager to execute agreement with NBS Government Finance Group to set up assessment district for Newman Industrial Park.
Second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0. Item 9B, adopt resolution number 2002, next number, a resolution initiating the proceedings for formation of a special assessment district designated as Newman Industrial Park Maintenance Assessment District and the levy of annual assessments therein and ordering the preparation of an assessment engineer's report.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 4-0. Item 8C, adopt resolution number 2002, resolution approving the assessment engineer's report for proceedings for the formation of and levy of assessments within Newman Industrial Park Maintenance Assessment District.
So move that motion as well, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0. Item 8D, adopt resolution number 2002, next number, a resolution declaring intention to form a special assessment district designated as Newman Industrial Park Maintenance Assessment District and to provide for the levy and collection of assessments in such district, setting a time and place for public hearing thereon, and ordering the initiation of assessment ballot procedures.
Now, I do have a question of staff on this particular motion only because of the contingency here I'm reading. There is also a 45-day waiting period required, however, that the waiting period can be waived by 100% signatures of the affected property owners. Will we have that?
We are the only.
We are the only
Just
property
with us,
owner.
there's no outside contingencies we're dealing with?
That is your next agenda item on, is for approved signing of that letter by the mayor, waiving that 45-day period.
So move on this motion as well.
You want to read it all? I'll second it.
He already read it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0. Item 9E,
Sorry.
yeah, you're used to reading it off of there and you don't change it. Authorize Mayor David Reed to sign letter waiving the 45-day waiting period for formation of a 1982 Act Benefit Assessment District in accordance with Proposition 218.
This motion is also so moved, Mr. Mayor.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0.
How soon can you sign this?
I don't know, where is it? Right now. And all of this should pretty well take care of all of this industrial park if Merced County moves along and does their part.
There's still some action to be taken by Merced County. One of the big items right now is the resolution that you approved, item 9D, resolution declaring intention to form a special assessment district. That resolution now needs to be approved by Merced County. They don't adopt a resolution. They may do it by resolution, but they basically have to approve our resolution, which will set the stage for us to then do the final approval of the assessment district at our special meeting, which is a public hearing, which we have scheduled for the 18th. That approval by Merced County has to be done by them before we can take the action on the 18th. Should they not get that on their meeting for the 18th, which we have requested, and provided them a copy of the resolution and all the information they need, including a resolution of approval of this resolution, it would delay us being able to take the action on the 18th, because we can't do that until they have approved it. There's a slight problem in that right now, in that their county council has, I guess, not completely disagreed with the process right now, but for some reason is stating that they need to go through the total same process that we are going through. I've spoken to our city attorney about it. He agrees that this will work. I believe, anyways, in talking to Tom. These people, consultants that I'm working with who propose this direction to take, are the experts. I will tell you that there are basically 3 firms in the whole state that do this work. Now, I was able to get proposals from 2 of them, but both of them basically propose the same type of way to adopt this when you have multiple jurisdictions. I have called in to Supervisor Deidre Kelsey right now. I know the mayor does also. I haven't been able to get a return phone call from her to try to get her assistance in working with county council and getting them to cooperate in being able to get this done. So that's where it currently stands. I spoke to the person in Public Works today who stated he attempted to talk to county council. County council said, I don't want to talk to you, have their city attorney call me. So we are working on getting that done right now.
Anything else, Tim?
No, I don't have anything further, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Item number 9G. Adopt resolution number 2002, next number. A resolution approving salary schedule for management, supervisory, and confidential employees.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0.
I have one comment on that issue we just passed regarding department head salary. It just goes back and relates to something we discussed in our resolutions and the strategic plan for the city. One of the things that was put up on the board, and we kind of just slided over a little bit, has been highly debated and discussed this evening, is accountability and being held responsible for the decisions that are made and your leadership roles as employees and as councilmen. Of course, we know wherein lies our resolve, and that's with the community, but in turn, what lies with department heads and staff is the council that you see before you. I just like to reiterate that, because I think it's very important. We have high expectations, just like I know there's high expectations of us to do the right thing and make the right decisions. And I think that the raise is well deserved, because it's in line with what we expect, and those expectations are going to continue to increase. So I just wanted to comment on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Item number 9H. Adopt resolution number 2002, and next number, a resolution adopting a preliminary budget for fiscal year 2002-2003. I would like, we're having a special meeting next Tuesday on the 18th. I would like to put this off until then for 2 reasons. One, to give us more time to study it, and another one to have all 5 council members here to vote on it.
I concur with Mr. Mayor.
Is Margaret here?
So you'd like to table this?
I'd like to table till
I
our
think it's
special
prudent.
meeting next Tuesday.
You have my concurrence.
John? Bob?
That's fine.
Okay. We don't need a vote on it, just consensus, I think. Is that all right with you, Margaret?
Yes.
Okay.
More time, more papers.
Okay, that's all right. Gives us time to study this a little more too. Item number 9I, to review goals and objectives. These are the brainstorming session we had back in April, and we're going to see how things are coming along.
You have a copy in your packet. If you'll bear with me just 1 minute, I'm going to bring up the goals and objectives. I'm not the expert on this PowerPoint, and I'm still working with making this more clear. At least I believe you do have a copy of this in your
Yes.
packet tonight to look at. And I'll just quickly go through these. These are as of what we did at our last meeting.
Have these been updated since our last meeting?
No, I haven't done that since our last meeting. I've looked through them. I just wanted to go through them and see if you had any questions on specific items as we go through, and the Public Works Director and Police Chief and Finance Director are here and can help me provide any answers to any of these. A lot of these relate to the Newman Industrial Park, and I think I've updated you on tonight on basically where we're at. We're ready to go, contingent on Merced County being able to finish what they need to do and let this move forward. So assuming that Merced County does go ahead and do their adoption, put this on the agenda on the 18th and then again on the 25th, we would be ready to adopt, the map would be ready to go on the 25th at their meeting, and therefore could be recorded basically that day. Everything else has been done. I mentioned a problem with the elevations that we discovered. That is being corrected as we speak, and I believe, Ernie, did Gary say, I believe today or tomorrow, that would be sent over to with the new elevation? So he has finished those. So the plans have been completed with the elevations and everything.
So we're not 13 feet off anymore?
We're not 13 feet off anymore, yes.
Totally amazing.
I will state on the first item, solicit proposals for downtown plaza design. I did some study on that, spoke to some consultants, and there is an amount included in your budget to proceed forward with that if the budget is approved. So the amount is included in the budget. Next item, number 2, involves the industrial park. I think we've discussed that unless you want any more information on that. Item number 3, research and develop a property acquisition and rehabilitation program. The planning director is working on that, and that is on target. Item 4, working with Economic Development Committee, review and evaluate land use in the Highway 33 specific plan and make recommendation to Planning Commission. That one is one that we haven't actually started on yet, but I have brought it up to the Economic Development Committee, so they are aware of it. Next item is under improved community involvement. The first item is completed. Councilmember Parker, we took care of that. Reinstate publication of the newsletter. That is on target. We are attempting to get our first one out. We were actually attempting to get one out before the end of this fiscal year. The intern that we are using has that pretty much put together. I know that she's been trying to get some information from you as council members also that she wanted to include in the newsletter.
I have a comment on that particular
Yes.
item. Before it's disseminated out to the general public and the community, I think it should be brought before the council for review, and in the event that any of us have any editing or any suggestions before the final is sent out, we would like to see it. I think it would only be prudent of us.
That is scheduled probably at your next meeting that she will bring that. I'm going to have the intern present that to you and show you what she has done. So that should be at your next meeting. Next item is update and distribute welcome packets. I think, Margaret, that is well underway. They've done a lot of work on that already. Working with the City Council, conduct a town hall meeting to encourage community participation in youth and adult recreation programs. We were looking at some options on that. One of the things we are looking at right now is handing out flyers at the police department barbecues, which they're proposing to hold. As you know, when you hold a town hall meeting, it is very difficult to get people to come out to a town hall meeting. So what we've been doing is looking at ways that we can go to forums that might already be out there that will attract a number of people, where we can present information and encourage participation.
Turlock has just done a town hall meeting just basically to get comments from people of what they'd like to see done with the city and what is good, what is bad. And I'd like to do something like that here too. And I want to find out more about it from them.
Okay.
How about if I do this, Mr. Mayor, improving community involvement? Since at our strategic planning, that was one of the ones that was designated under myself and a couple of other staff members. I'll take on this particular project because what I'm hearing is maybe it could be interfaced with something separate from an actual town hall meeting, but I'll take on that responsibility, work with you, find out what they did in Turlock, because I think that we can raise interest for people to come out and discuss what they feel is important, the direction they'd like to see the city to go, particularly when we're continuing with our outgrowth of a future plan of 30,000. I think it can happen. I think we'll have a decent turnout. So I'll get behind it and I'll take on that responsibility.
Thank you. Go ahead, please. I'm sorry.
Next item, enhanced police services. Develop and begin to implement an officer retention plan. Police chief has that pretty much completed. He's been working on that. Probably at our next meeting, chief, we'll have a report back on that. Develop and hold a workshop for all officers to improve their interactions with the community. I know that some of that has been done, and that will be kind of an ongoing process. Working with Police Chief and Councilmember Applegate, develop the pros and cons and regarding contracting for police services with Stanislaus County Sheriff's Department and present to the City Council for consideration and recommendation. I have begun that work. I'm still working with different contracts from different cities that currently contract with the county to work up a report, and then I will be holding a meeting with the chief and Councilmember Applegate when he returns home sometime. Any questions on those items? Next item, improve city's infrastructure. The first item again is involved with the Newman Industrial Park. Actually, the first two items. Present a program for pavement management system to the City Council for consideration. I know I've had one report at StanCog on that. Ernie, is that still online to be received before 7/1?
No, it's going to be pushed back because they have to set up the presentation. So they said that at our last meeting, late August, so they could revise it to 8/31.
Okay, so that will be changed to a new target date of 8/31.
This is item 1 or 2?
That will be actually item 3, the pavement
Item 3.
management system.
Okay.
Okay. Item 4, complete the funding request to StanCog for sidewalk infill, curbs, gutters, and handicapped access. That has been done. We met with the StanCog. Actually, that has a 7/31 date. The funding request is going in. Ernie, do you recall the process of, I believe it's still out of ways as far as when that would be approved, but the funding request has gone in to them. We've completed that paperwork.
Got to go through StanCog once they put all their stamps and review it, then we pick it up and deliver it to Caltrans.
Okay. Next item, item number, thought that was supposed to be 5, but 6. Develop and distribute a request for a proposal to update the city's water master plan. That has an October 1 deadline. We're looking at that. And we will, that's still on target. Same for the wastewater master plan. Those items are on target at this point. Complete construction of the infrastructure improvements for phase 1 of the industrial park. Talking to our city engineer today, we will have that item on your agenda for the next meeting to call for bids for those improvements. So that is, assuming we can get that bid out, should be pretty much on target for that October 1 date. And then the next two items are more long-range goals that we threw in: the develop an urban water management plan and an urban water or a stormwater management plan, and those we will take a look at those. And I believe that's it. Oh, one more. enhance the appearance of the city. First item is the Community Improvement Recognition Program. That one has been done. That's completed now. The council adopted that resolution at your last meeting, I believe it was. Prepare a proposal to contract for code enforcement and present to the City Council for consideration. That will be discussed in your budget at your next meeting now that you've held that off. There is some area in there for code enforcement. We'll discuss that when we discuss the budget. Working with the Rotary Club and volunteers, hold a volunteer day to improve the appearance of the city. We're still working on that one. Rotary Club has come back and wants to do some work now on the planters that have been done downtown.
When are we getting the plants? They're ready to go if...
Well, I just received a letter yesterday from them asking us to participate. Now the question is, it's for over $1,000. I need to bring that back to the council. I just got it yesterday. I don't have the chance to do that unless the council is telling me don't bring it back.
Well, that was a suggestion, I think, that they had in there. I think we can go ahead and get whatever flowers we think we deem will work in there.
Well, it's still going to be approximately that cost. My only thing is I wasn't expecting to have to come back and redo all those flowers this early. What they're recommending is all of the alyssum and two of the other varieties that my understanding was those would hold on throughout the year. Or they're recommending that those be pulled out. So we need to take a look at that. My recommendation is that I bring back their proposal at the next council meeting, or perhaps if the council wants architecture review or the streetscape committee to look at that.
We might look at, it seems the planters themselves look pretty good. I think we could probably get by with doing a smaller amount of work on those than on the tree wells. Some of the tree wells are pretty bare now.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the tree wells, as you recall, don't have as good a soil in them as the planters do, and that's part of the problem. We did add some soil amendment to them.
Can't we replace the soil?
Pardon?
Can't we replace the soil?
We did. Well, we didn't completely replace it, but what we did is we added about 2 to 3 inches, I would guess. John, you were in charge of that, weren't you? How much did we get there?
I think we started out with 6 inches in some of them, but
ended up a little less.
Much, so they all have at least 3 inches.
Yeah.
I think the shovelers got a little tired toward the end.
We got tired.
We did.
Well, we used too much. We got yelled at. We used too much sod, so we had to cut back. But they all have at least 3 inches. So.
But the question is, I mean, I can give them the okay, but what they're asking is for us to purchase those plants. I don't have that proposal before me because I wasn't going to discuss that tonight, but it is a little bit over $1,000 if I require, just barely over $1,000 for what they're proposing. Good thing about it is they are proposing to put a volunteer group together and do the work, which is a very positive thing and saves a lot of time and money that our public works crew don't have to do that work.
But you know, Cleve, it's really important that continue, that it not be
I know.
run down or anything.
And the Rotary Club, I believe, is proposing that. They want to continue to work with it and be able to keep that maintained. Yeah. So I'm fairly comfortable as far as the labor part of it. I'm looking at the chief over here because he's an active member in Rotary, but so I'll expect to see him out there. But the message that I've got from them is that they want to be part of that and they want to help maintain those.
And then I had talked to you, there was something I wanted to mention to the chamber directors at their meeting, possibly a way to do this on Thursday. So I'll get back with the council after that and see what happens with that.
Is there anything you would like me to do with this proposal that they have given me at this time?
The prices that they have, those came from Ace or wherever, or they actually got.
I'm not sure. I got it from Susan Mattis, who's the president of Rotary.
Yeah, I don't know whether she's estimated that or where she actually got the price.
My guess is, I don't know for sure where she got them from. She didn't tell me. She just gave me the prices. But I know she has looked at getting them locally in the past. The other ones she didn't because of the large quantities in the initial what we were doing. But I know that she has talked to Ace and they have said that they can get pretty much what she wants.
I'd just like to make a comment on that. It'd be nice to you know, there's probably some bare spots, but maybe we can hold off a little bit so it looks nice for the fall festival. If we go plant plants right now, maybe we'll have some die between now and then. Just a suggestion. You know, a little bit closer, another month or something, and that might be a little nice also. What do you think, Mr. Mayor?
It's worth a look at, yeah.
You know, look into it and see what their timeline is, the Rotary, for doing this. Maybe they're not going to do it
Well, I
right
think they
away,
want
I'm
to
not
get
sure.
started as
They
soon
wanna
as
do it right
possible.
away.
Yeah, they wanted to, I believe they had a volunteer day, I forget the date. Do you remember what it was, Mayor? Did you see it? It's on the proposal they gave me.
I didn't
It's the end of
I didn't
this
see the
month.
proposal, so.
It's toward the end of this month.
Well, that gives us,
That'll be 2 months.
maybe we can come up with something by our next meeting.
Probably have to redo them another 2 months.
I'll put it on your agenda for your next meeting and you can look at it.
See what we can do.
Chief, guard them plants. That's what we need. Guard those plants.
Well, you know, you have to remember, I keep coming back to the soil. The soil is important because you're going to put plants in there, and if they don't get the right nutrition and everything, they're going to die. So it doesn't make any sense not to have good soil.
Well, they, in addition to the soil, they put fertilizer tablets in each one, so that helps some.
But it is important to prepare
It's
that
hard.
ground.
It's just really harder for them to grow down there. They don't get the sun that the planters do and things like that. So. Yes, well, that's something else too.
I think part of the problem also was the watering, right, at the beginning, Ernie? So, we needed a little more sprinklers, so some of the plants probably didn't have a chance to get started at the beginning, so.
That's all remedied now, though they're all working well, I believe. Number 4 on here is work with the Economic Development Committee with the city planner or city manager to improve the appearance of Newman Flange. I'll admit this is one we haven't really got started on yet, but it's not due till October 1, and we will continue to work on that.
Okay, it looks like everything is reasonably on target there. Okay, the next thing is to adjourn to meet as Newman Redevelopment Agency. You need that? Yeah, I think, we don't have, can we just skip the whole thing then, since we did that?
Yeah, the
Okay.
budget.
All right,
Okay.
that's good. Okay, we'll go to item number 11. Cleve, you have anything else?
Nothing else unless the council has any questions.
Items from city council members. John?
Couple items. Cleve, did you have a chance to check into that fence over there by Burger King? South
I
of Burger
did.
King?
I talked to them. They're very willing to do whatever is necessary. What they're telling me that is I talked to the project manager out there. They're going to have an office there, and then their project manager, who wants to stay during the week and go home on weekends, has pulled an RV in there. And then they have a storage unit that will hold their smaller tools. He told me there would be no equipment stored on the site. Apparently they have the office area, and then also possibly a little part of that office area would be an area where they could go in and have their lunch or break room, whatever. The question is whether or not that complies. In talking to the planning director, we're going to look into it some more tomorrow morning when he is in town. It's going to be for approximately 4 months while they're doing the work, and then they'll move it. The project we're referring to is on Highway 33, directly to the south of the Nob Hill Shopping Center. What it is, the project they're working on, as I understand it, granite construction. John, you could probably explain it better than me. If you recall the concrete ditch that failed,
Some
the
years
federal
back,
government did a few years
when
back.
the government
They're
built that
trying
concrete
again.
ditch for the ducts for the water, it failed. Now they're attempting to do it again. So I guess they're the ones that obviously either leased or rented. Temporary deal.
It's a temporary yard while they're doing that construction.
But we were just kind of worried about
Approximately 4
them bringing
months.
heavy equipment and everything in, just checking into it.
He told me there would be no heavy equipment brought in. I'm sure there'll be pickup trucks and stuff like that on occasion on breaks and getting small tools. But the question is,
Can they
still
do
does
that?
that comply, and can they do that there? And we'll be working on that with the planning director tomorrow. They had requested an permit for a temporary power pole. That was to be approved today. I told them to hold off on that approval until we make sure that that is allowed in that area. So the project manager was very cooperative and said, We checked with all our neighbors, or their neighbors, and they all said it was fine. They leased the ground, and
Check with Paul?
it was just a matter of them not knowing, I guess, what process, where else to check, and so that's where it's at. So.
Okay. Just the other thing, have we heard any more about the ambulance situation, about what's going on with Merced County or anything like that? Any news or?
I haven't heard any more on it.
You haven't heard anything
I can
come
check
across
into
your
it if
desk,
you'd
or?
like and get a report.
Yeah.
on it.
The only thing I've seen is with the little bits in the paper, but kind of wondering what's going on with that. That's all I had.
Bob?
Just general comment. Tonight we received a lot of material right at the beginning of the meeting in regards to building inspection. If we could receive this material prior to us coming to the council meeting, I know sometimes it's difficult, but we were inundated by a lot of material tonight.
None of that was given to me.
No,
I don't have that information.
No, I know that,
Okay.
but I'm just saying if we can encourage those people that are going to come forward some way that we can better prepare ourselves to understand what they're trying to accomplish when they come up here.
Some of that stuff I just received yesterday, so that's why.
I know, but this is a very important subject, I know, to the general public out there, and I think it's important that we get it done right. You know, it's like whatever occurs, that we get all the information in and find out just exactly if we have a problem, which it looks like we might have a little problem, and get it resolved one way or the other. That's all I have.
Tim?
I have nothing further this evening, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
And I don't have anything either. I think everyone that came out today, especially people from talking about the building department, and wish we had more people to come out. And I'm very impressed with the report you gave us. And do you have a copy of that, Cleve, to give to?
He gave me a copy. I'll get it. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I was told the city manager also provide a report.
Just for the public.
Address it for the public. I was under the assumption that Cleve would also supply a report on precision inspection. I'd like to see that.
It was in the council packet. I can get you a copy at City Hall if you'd like to come to City Hall.
Yeah, there was a copy in our packet here.
All the information that Father Martino was talking about, he was indicating there was a lot of information at the beginning of the meeting. Would we be able to, as the general public, to hold that information also? Is that included in the packet?
I didn't have that information. I can't tell you.
Bobby, you're talking about the information we just got tonight, right? Like
Yeah,
from
it's
you
just
folks.
information that we received tonight. When I came in there and sat down.
No, those
No,
are from private
from
citizens.
you guys. This is
It's as if you had sent us a letter.
Relating to that.
It's relating to it.
There was nothing from there.
It was on the end of precision inspection. Sometimes the public is left out of that.
No, this,
No, we
there's
didn't receive any-
nothing there, everything.
Other than what was in the report,
yeah.
that's all we got.
Okay, if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourn.